Hello, this is Tony Heller from RealClimateScience.com, setting the record straight about climate. This video is titled 100% Reliable Climate Predictions. What I'm going to show you in this video is that some things about climate are extremely predictable. 6 years ago there had been a long pause in global warming and climate scientists were very worried about it. This article from the BBC said, "Global warming pause central to IPCC climate report." The global warming pause had been going on for 13 years, and Phil Jones from the Climatic Research Unit in England said, "Bottom line, the no upward trend has to continue for a total of 15 years before we get worried." His language is very interesting. Notice that he's worried about a global warming pause. If climate scientists were actually worried about global warming, they would be happy about a pause. But the reason they were worried was because their funding and their reputations depend on keeping global warming going. If the issue was the climate, they would have been ecstatically happy about the fact that they were wrong. That's a picture of Phil Jones on the left with this quote, "The no upward trend has to continue for a total of 15 years before we get worried." And the graph on the right was satellite temperatures from remote sensing systems. The graph from remote sensing systems showed almost 18 years with no warming. But instead of being happy like they should have been, the scientists were very upset. And then came the final straw. Ted Cruz used the graph from remote sensing systems in a Senate hearing. Ted Cruz said that satellite data was the best way to measure Earth's temperature and that it showed no warming since the year 2000. Cruz was immediately attacked for taking this position, and climate alarmists suddenly started denying that satellite data was good. But all that Ted Cruz was doing was repeating what NASA had said themselves. A report issued by the U.S. space agency NASA concluded that there's been no sign that the greenhouse effect increased global temperatures during the 1980s. The report's authors said that their satellite analysis of the upper atmosphere is more accurate and should be adopted as the standard way to monitor global temperature change. So Ted Cruz was doing things the right way, but the right way wasn't giving the answer which climate alarmists wanted. There's two different satellite data sets. One's from remote sensing systems and the other is from the University of Alabama at Huntsville. And this is the way the temperature graph looked on November 16, 2016. The red line is remote sensing systems, the blue line is the University of Alabama at Huntsville, and the green line, which goes way up, is NASA's surface temperature. The surface temperatures had already been altered to make the pause disappear, but both satellite data sets showed a long pause since about the year 2000. I knew that after Ted Cruz's Senate hearing that remote sensing systems Carl Mears was under tremendous pressure to make the pause disappear too in his data set. So I made this forecast on my blog on March 27, 2015. Look for the satellite data to be adjusted to bring it into compliance with the fully fraudulent surface temperatures. The Guardian is now working to discredit University of Alabama and Huntsville, so it seems likely that remote sensing systems will soon be making big changes to match the needs of the climate mafia. Bookmark this post. Fortunately, a lot of people did bookmark my prediction. And Dr. Roy Spencer from the University of Alabama at Huntsville made a similar prediction. I expect there will soon be a revised TLT product from RSS which shows enhanced warming too. Here's what I'm predicting. Neither John Christie nor I will be asked to review the paper. It will quickly sail through peer review. It will have many authors, including climate model people and the usual pundits, which will supposedly lend legitimacy to the new adjustments. Let's see how many of my 3 predictions come true. He made this prediction on January 9th, 2017. Well, what Dr. Spencer and myself both predicted is exactly what happened. A few months later, RSS released a new product, the red line here, which was now above the surface temperatures. Remember, it used to be down here, now is way up here. This graph shows a comparison between the 2016 version of remote sensing system data and their 2019 version. The 2016 version is down here and it shows the pause. The 2019 version has been adjusted way upwards. I captured this climate web page from remote sensing systems in 2016. What it shows is yellow is climate model predictions and blue is the actual measured troposphere temperature. You can see that they are way below the predictions. Carl Mears wrote this text. Note that after 1998, the observations are likely to be below the simulated values, indicating that the simulation as a whole are predicting too much warming. But that's all changed. Here's the current version of that same web page. Now it says there's a small discrepancy between the model predictions and the satellite observations. But that's not really what the graph shows. The graph still shows that most of the model predictions are well above the actual measured temperatures. So let's look now and see how Carl Mears altered his data. This graph overlays Carl Mears' new data on top of his old data. The black line is the new data and the blue band is the old data. The blue band represented the range of uncertainty in the temperature measurements, which is the correct way to represent data. The blue error band is the old plot, but look what he did in the new plot, which is the black line. He simply eliminated the error interval and moved everything up to the high end of his error band. Wow, talk about a quick and dirty way to get rid of a global warming pause. He just simply moved all his data up to the high end of his error band. Just as I predicted he would do, he created warming where there was none. This is Carl Mears' old data set through the end of the year 2018. It shows about 17 years of no warming. That's 2 years longer than the 15-year period which Phil Jones was worried about his theory falling apart. This graph shows the adjustments which Carl Mears made to his data. Note that after the year 2002, there's a hockey stick of upwards adjustments. That's where the warming comes from, not from the atmosphere. And now the news is covered with stories like satellite confirms key NASA temperature data, the planet is warming. Climate alarmists are happy that the planet is warming, but they were upset when the planet wasn't warming. And now, just like in Orwell's 1984, they've also erased the hiatus, which you remember was central to the IPCC report. So let's review the facts of the situation. Climate scientists were very worried about the hiatus when they should have been happy about it, so they made it go away. This sort of behavior is extremely predictable. Anytime a data set doesn't show enough warming or doesn't show any warming, they simply adjust the data to cool the past and warm the present. What these people are doing has nothing to do with science. If they were really worried about the planet, they would be happy about global warming not occurring. But that's not their agenda. Visit Toto on the web at realclimatescience.com. He's been pulling back the curtain on junk science for a long time.